We got the Seahawks playing tomorrow, preseason game number 1. The Las Vegas Raiders come to town. We'll see who plays for the Raiders. I was hoping that, because initially it sounded like Pete was saying the starters were going to play, but he's saying, no, they're not necessarily going to play, but they're ready.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Geno out there and see Jamal and whoever, but we'll see.
Max Crosby.
Yeah, ultimately we'll see what it looks like. But what is there something specific you're looking for? As much as we've sort of downplayed, look, the win, the loss means 0. They're not scheming each other. You're not looking for tendency. You don't know because half the guys are new coaching staff, everything. So You're not scheming for the opposition. What is it you want to see?
I want to see the execution of like the most basic plays that they're going to run, because that's what they have in right now. They have their base stuff. This is what everything, and what you do when you have that, and that's the same thing on defense. It's like you put your defenses in, but then each game as it goes along, you scheme for them specifically, like, oh, they're susceptible to this play or that play or whatever. But I just would like to see, and it might get disrupted because, like I said, whenever in the preseason, those games, they go their own way. And, you'd like to have like a 10-play drive where you can go right down and just, sequentially call, this play and that play, and this is how we want to go. I think you have to be flexible in that regard as far as like, okay, things aren't going right. Now we got to deviate from what was the plan. But I would love to see a long, sustained drive, scoring drive. Even if it's a field goal, just to get them moving down the field and just kind of see how this offense makes sense. So, that, and then I think that's number 1. Number 2 is just the individual players. Like, Gray Zabel's going to play a little bit,
right? And
I don't know how much, but
even Worry, I want to see.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch Gray Zabel play. I mean, never thought I'd say that about a guard, but that play I was describing from the scrimmage where he recovers on that spin that Big Cat threw on him, and he looks so good. His feet look just awesome, and. I remember saying this about Fautanu, the kid from UW who ended up going to Pittsburgh in the draft a couple of years ago, where it looked like his lower half and his upper half almost operate independently. Mm-hmm. I don't know, it's hard to describe how good his hands and feet are. So, yeah, this will be the year of me watching an offensive guard. That's the most exciting thing that I have going on. But no, it's going to be about what is the effect of the coaching, because you're not going to see a lot of the starters and you're going to see a lot of young guys. And
at one point you had disdain for guards.
Oh, yeah.
And you'd always bring up the coach that told you I could go out and find a guard on the side of a freeway or whatever the saying was. And
bum on the highway.
Yeah, just kind of like, that's nothing special position. Right. And they're cheaters and they hold. And now look at you.
They are.
Now look at you. The thing you're looking forward to most, guard play.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad, really, but no, I think there's going to be a lot of binoculars in the stands if you have them, and just focus on Gray Zabel. It's going to be really interesting because, again, this was a complaint-free draft. Really, I mean, there was maybe a couple of people that you heard like a negative rating as far as what they went and got, but. You go and get a stud safety on defense, obviously Gray Zabel, and then, Jalen Milroe, I think, is going to be really interesting to watch. And it's my understanding that it's going to go Drew Lock and Jalen Milroe, first and second half.
Yeah.
So
that'll be exciting to see.
Yeah.
What does he look like? How does it look when he's throwing the ball? Is he running every time? Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait I'd like to see him throw a pass. I haven't really, we don't get a chance to see a lot of the 7-on-7 stuff because we start our show out there, but I think for him, and then even Worry, it just seems like no matter what, he has success almost every day. You hear something about an interception or how he fielded on on a run play or whatever. Had him in there today, just an amazing kid. I mean, it just a great group of young guys that I can't wait to see. And now this Torrey Horton kid is like getting all the focus.
Yeah.
And I wasn't so sure what his impact was going to be on this team early on, and it already is.
Yeah, Eamon Worry's the guy I'm most excited / curious about. I think he was a tremendous pick, and there's so many. We read so many of the mock drafts out there, and so many evaluations of all these players, and he was widely considered to be a first-round pick. And the fact that he was there, and the Seahawks move up and take him, and it just and then post draft reaction, everybody talking about that being a gem, and they've got a first round talent in the second round, and so it just led to me just really excited about what he potentially could be for this team. So he's the guy I'm really keyed in on. Obviously, Gray Zabel was addressing a huge need for the team, but Mike McDonald talking about what it is he hopes to get out of the preseason opener.
There's so much to get out of these games. There's a lot of position battles that you want to see. You want to see how guys, handle, live and in color, schemes that necessarily they haven't been seeing the last, X amount of practices. Going against other people is really exciting. Being in front of the 12s is going to be a lot of fun. And we want to win the game. So that's how we'll call it, and that's how we'll handle all the situations. But getting our guys, great reps as well. We want to get our guys an opportunity to go show what they've been practicing and been training to do.
Like he throws there, we want to win the game.
Yeah.
And that's literally the last thing I'm looking at. Right. I couldn't tell you what the Seahawks did in preseason last year in terms of wins and losses. I don't recall.
God, that's a great question.
And we always talk about the Lions the year they went winless were undefeated in the preseason.
4-0.
Yeah, so it really, as far as it translating to what the regular season is going to look like, there's zero connection.
God, can you imagine those Lion fans? They were probably thinking after that, like, hey, we're going to the playoffs, man.
This is our year.
This is our year.
The curse has been lifted, and they go 0-16.
Yeah.
And I believe our buddy Cliff Averill was on that team.
That's right.
Oof.
Just sat next to Cliff Averill today in the production meeting, and I didn't bring that up.
You didn't bring up 0-16?
No,
that's weird. Seems like that should be front of mind.
But another guy I think I'm most curious about, Anthony Bradford. I can't wait to see him play, just because I saw him the other day, and he is a monster of a man. And then you look at what he does on the field, and there was a few times I remember coming in here and going, guys, look at this man. Look at this guy. Like, he's barely touching this guy, and he's knocking him on his ass. I mean, it's phenomenal. But then you see him just entirely space. So I think him and Jalen Sundell, I think, is also very interesting. Guy from North Dakota State. And from what I understand, so him and Gray Zabel from North Dakota State, and I guess there's 2 players on the Raiders from North Dakota State. So they're just a football powerhouse, apparently.
Yeah.
but yeah,
littering the NFL with players.
Yeah. But yeah, you look at Jalen Sundell, I think he is kind of interesting just because he's been talked about so much. He's incredibly versatile. He can play, center, guard, or tackle. He's kind of undersized to play tackle, but he can do it. So I think those 2 guys, offensive line wise, are going to be, but you have to say that, like, watching offensive line play, I mean, how many times you go, wow, I mean, he won that battle, and it's like, or how many times are you going, well, I don't know if that was his block or not, and what are the rules, and maybe he was expecting help, and so, in other words, it's hard to evaluate.
Right.
But just the way they carry themselves, and if they look confident running this offense, is what you're looking for.
Another one from Mike McDonald gives a little bit more clarity on which starters will and will not play.
It's not like, hey, we're taking the 22 guys that are penciled in with the ones and they're not playing. It's kind of selected guys. Where there's some position battles still going, we'll see it. If it's the younger guys, like Nick will get some good reps. You'll see Gray initially. Elijah will play. So all those young guys, they need experience and reps too.
So he's bringing up some of the rookies, Eamon Zabel, Arroyo. Just of the veteran group, I don't know who would be out there. Who would be a likely candidate to play? Oh, like somebody who's not. He just listed rookies there.
Yeah, I don't think MVS or Cooper Kupp are playing.
Would you want to see Darnold out there for a series or two? He's new.
I think. Yeah, I think everybody would, right? But the fact that they think he doesn't need it, I think, is probably a good sign. So, yeah, I think it's going to be interesting also to watch this how they warm up and like how they get ready before a game. That was actually discussed today, and there was a stat that I guess Geno, the first series, Geno had like the worst, I can't remember if it was quarterback rating or they came in dead last as far as effectiveness in their first series. And then their second series, they were like 4th best. Now, I don't know exactly what the measuring stick was, whether it was scoring or first downs or whatever, but Mike talked a lot about how they warm up and how it kind of peaks, and then you go in the locker room and it goes down. So they're trying to find ways. Mike is an incredible football mind that, like, he thinks about everything. I mean, if you're a coach, you're a head coach in the NFL, especially going into just your second year, do you really give a crap about how your team warms up? And yet Mike is paying attention to that kind of stuff, and I think it's valuable.
Did you ever have that experience as a player? You guys went out there, you warmed up, you're ready, you're fired up, and then you just go sit in the locker room and go, huh.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think you always tried to not, get too fired up when you're out there and going through, the warm-ups and everything, because usually it involves you hitting. And I remember guys getting their pads warm by hitting someone else. You kind of wanted to do that. But I remember a game, I think we were playing the Oilers, and they had the run-and-shoot offense. And, there was 3 or 4 series where I didn't hit anybody. I mean, it was just pass. And, I think maybe I made one tackle, but it was like, man, I'm ready to hit somebody. And I think he's trying to find a way to sort of just warm everybody up and keep going because of that stat I mentioned, that they started off terrible in first series. So just him, trying to find a different way to do things, I think that's what makes him such a great coach. He just thinks about every little detail, very detail-oriented.
One here from Pete Carroll where he was asked if starters will play on Thursday. Here's his response.
Do you think you'll play your full set of starters on Thursday?
Everybody's alive. Everybody's ready to go.
Here we go.
So it's not a yes.
Yeah.
It's not a no. Everybody's ready to go.
That's savvy Pete right there. Yeah.
So you guys parse that for yourselves. What do you think? Is that a yes or no? Are the starters playing or not? They're live. They're ready. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, so, I mean, this is going to be Mike McDonald's 21st, going into a game, right? 20 last year, 17, and 3 is 20. Yeah. And then for Pete Carroll, that's probably, number 600 or something ridiculous like that, as far as going out as a head coach. But Pete, the consummate pro there. Everyone's alive.
That's good to hear. Yeah. They're live. They're all alive, and they're ready to go. So, I don't know. I guess I'd be pretty surprised if we saw Geno out there. Maybe he will. Maybe Pete will take special consideration. Hey, he just left here. It's a chance for him to get out in front of the 12s because they're not going to play him in the regular season. So, maybe this is an opportunity for him to get a nice ovation or something. I don't know if he takes that into consideration at all.
Yeah.
In terms of, Pete messing with the starters or not playing versus not playing.
Yeah.
I think it'd be cool for Geno to get, and I don't know if it's going to be a packed building or not, but it'd be cool for him to get the reception from the crowd.
Yeah. Think that's what he'll get? Or he didn't want us.
And you're right. And
there
I
might
think
be some people that are rankled because of that.
Yeah, I think any fan, when there's a player, especially a prominent player, that says, I don't want to be part of your team anymore, they immediately say, you're dead to me.
Right.
That's it. You want out? Then get out. You don't want to be here? Good. I don't want you. There's that feeling. So and I think that's true with some of the fan base. I would think he would get a majority of cheers, though. I think.
Yeah, I would think so. Just because, he did something that was unexpected and pretty awesome, really, if you look at the trajectory of his career. And I think he was a second rounder originally.
He was.
Yeah, and then
he was.
He fought his way into being a backup for a long time, and then all of a sudden, ends up being a starter. And I just, I wonder if people are kind of apathetic about it because, like I said, good Geno is the guy that resurrected his career and, did the Seahawks right and played well, made the Pro Bowl, all that. And then there's the Geno that, nobody ever really got attached to.
Yeah.
Never really felt like, oh, that's my guy, Even if you've never met him or anything, there are certain players that, you love. And Marshawn Lynch, great example.
Yeah, well, Russ was that guy for
Russ as well.
You weren't allowed to say anything negative about Russ for years.
Yeah.
It was really poorly received.
Right.
So you're not negative, you're just being objective, saying, it wasn't a good game, or that was a bad series, or you shouldn't have made that pass. Why do you hate him? That's where all that started. So, yeah, it's I don't know. We'll see if he gets any time out there talking about Geno Smith, and if he does, I would be pretty certain he'd get a positive reaction from the majority of the crowd.